It's been a little while. I guess I've been off of YouTube for the past year and a half. Part of that was because I did have a pretty tough injury about a year ago. Mostly though, it was for personal reasons. I was getting pretty mentally fatigued, having some difficulty dealing with stress in my life, and that's honestly what led to my injury directly. But the good news is I'm in a much better situation now. I decided to move back to Florida, the Tampa area, which is where I've enjoyed myself the most since before the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm really excited about this. I think it's the best place for me to kind of get a fresh start, and I'm pretty excited to share that with you guys. So I don't want to talk too much about the past year. If you guys have questions about it, I don't consider myself private or anything. It's just a little bit of a tangent to what I really do want to focus on, which is what I've learned over the past year, what my goals are, and what I can share with y'all to hopefully help you with your own training and your own lives. So I got to give a huge thank you to Jake Benson, who I met him when I was living in Las Vegas, and he helped me through this injury so much. And he really helped me to become a better person. Jake's one of the best guys I've ever met, one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And if you don't already follow him, you should definitely check him out. You should check out his website. And I also want to thank Gasp and Granite Supplements, who are going to be sponsoring this next phase of my career. So if you'd like to support me, you can check out the links for those in the description of the video below. But the biggest thing that Jake taught me over the past year was that in order to really maximize your performance in any aspect of your life, your health has to come first. And I'm not saying that as somebody trying to be, overly responsible and pointing fingers at all the deaths in bodybuilding or anything like that. I'm talking about it purely from an achievement perspective. If your body is not healthy, your brain isn't going to allow it to perform at its best. And I think that's kind of obvious when you think about it, but a lot of people don't think about it. A lot of people think about, hey, I need to push the limits, and if my health suffers, that's just part of the game. And I don't think that has to be the case. Certainly after working with Jake, I don't think that has to be the case. I think that you can really maintain great health while maximizing performance. And if you look at many of Jake's clients, he's already proven that over and over again. So I'm not going to talk about Jake the whole time, but I did want to really express that gratitude because of how much of a difference he's made in my life. So on to my career plans. I have decided that, so I'm 36. The honest God truth is I think I'm kind of past my prime in terms of putting up absolute numbers in powerlifting, but I'm just kind of starting out in my prime for bodybuilding. So for the next few years, I am really going to focus on bodybuilding. My goal is going to be to qualify for the Olympia, hopefully in 2025. I really 100% believe that's possible. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that it will be a really good learning experience for me, and I think I can contribute some to the sport as well. So those are all kind of part of my goals. I'm not done with powerlifting. I am going to come back. My plan is after I turn 40, then I can come back and I can set a bunch of masters records, which I always thought were a little bit silly when I was coming up. But now that I'm older, I realize, hey, it is kind of fun to be able to compare yourself against other people in your age category, and I think I could still put up some massive numbers. I mean, I'm not going to say I couldn't get an all-time total PR. I just don't think that I'm going to set a dots PR, because I'm not trying to do those 50-pound weight cuts again. Those were pretty stupid. They were fun, but they were pretty stupid. So the plan for bodybuilding is going to be pretty unconventional. There's going to be a lot of strength stuff in there. There's going to be a lot of athletic stuff in there, which is something I've really focused on over the past year. I'm going to be splitting my time. So I'm actually living in St. Petersburg. I'm going to be training at Barbell, MI40, and then a little club called Epic Health and Fitness that's just down the street from me that I'll be able to get some shorter workouts in. You guys, if you followed my content before, I'm a big fan of those. I'll try to be sharing as much stuff as I can that I think is relevant to you guys. So for the first probably couple of months, honestly, as I get back into things, my training is going to be a little bit boring, and I'm probably not going to film my own training. Instead, I'm going to try and do a lot of tutorial stuff. So if there's specifics that you would like to see, hey, I want to see Ben demonstrate a glute ham raise, or I want to see Ben talk about what he's learned about box jumps, put those in the description below as well, because I'll have plenty of time to do that, and I really want to make sure that I maximize this time before training's really freaking nutty again. That's another thing that I want to mention, though. I'm probably not going to be training nutty as often. I'm definitely not going to be training nutty as often. Again, that's one of the things that really contributed to this injury that I had, and I've been vague about the injury because I never got a diagnosis. I'm not a big fan of diagnoses. I think they pathologize things that don't need to be. But uh, my only mechanism for dealing with stress was going to RPE 11 in the gym, and obviously that's going to lead to problems, right? So now that that's not the case, I realize, hey, I knew this at the time, but you benefit a lot more from incorporating more easier, lighter training where you're focused on nuances of your overall plan rather than just being balls to the wall every day, day in and day out for 20 years. But I will be getting back to that, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's just a little ways away in terms of physically where I'm at right now. So I'm pretty happy, honestly. It's been over a year, or no, almost a year with nothing that I would consider real training. It's not that I haven't been training hard. It's just I haven't been training heavy, and I have been on true TRT, meaning 125 mgs a test a week and nothing else for longer than I can remember. It hasn't been the full year, but it's been a long time. I still weigh 225. Obviously, I'm a lot down from my peak, which was I think 273 in there. But I still have striated glutes. I still have striated quads. My leg size didn't go anywhere. It's really just the upper body that suffered because I haven't been able to press evenly. There's been some scapular imbalances, which I've also talked about in the past, but those are more or less resolved. So yeah, this is just kind of a little short update video, reintroducing myself, saying I'm pretty excited. If everything goes perfectly, I would love to do FOAD's Detroit Pro-Am this coming April 2024. If not, we'll push it back. I'm not in a rush. I got plenty of time, and I want to make sure that I enjoy the journey this time around, because I think the first half of my career, if you think about it that way, I was in such a hurry to get to the top that I didn't really enjoy it along the way, and I don't want to make that mistake again. Last thing I'll say is I know there's going to be a ton of questions about, oh, Ben, how'd you get injured? What rehab strategies do you have? Blah, 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 blah. I want to say this was a very much a freak injury in that it was very specific to myself. It was caused, I'm going to say it was caused 90% by psychological stress. I don't think it's really relevant to anybody else's situation. I know the methods that Jake had me use would not be relevant to anybody else's situation. And I don't want to mislead you all, because I think that's one of the things that upsets me most about the industry is that if you look up really any topic, but I think rehab is a very prevalent one because of how mentally painful injuries can be. Forget the physical, they're very mentally painful. That puts people in a vulnerable situation. And I think physical therapists and a lot of influencers take advantage of people in that regard by giving them information that's not actually going to help them. And I don't want to contribute to that. So if you are struggling with an injury, my best advice is to find a coach that you trust and that can kind of help you through the process. Understand that it's going to be a process, but don't self-diagnose. Don't kind of influencer worship and just say, well, knees over toes guy, and I like knees over toes guy. I'm not knocking on him at all, but don't say, hey, knees over toes guy says to fix your knees you do this, and therefore I have to do this. It's very much a case of finding what works for you, and that's something I've been saying throughout my entire career, and I feel even more strongly about it now. So that's my intro video, guys. I'm really grateful that y'all are still here. Last thing that I'll say, and then I'll shut up. So I am going to set some career goals too. I would love to make it to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am a little bit disgruntled with Instagram's platform since it's gone to Reels. I think it's a little bit moved away from providing quality information and towards providing entertainment. Not that it wasn't already on that spectrum to begin with, but YouTube is a platform where I can talk in more detail, obviously, and I think I can interact with you guys a little bit better, and I can share good information in a more accessible way. So if you could subscribe, share, whatever you guys do with these videos, I would really appreciate that as well. That's all I've got for you. Have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.